Alright, so here we are. What we have is a Aria Pro 2. If you can see that, our Aria, I've heard it pronounced multiple different ways. So this is a Japanese import from 1976. The reason why we know it's from 76 is if you look inside the wood block there, there's a serial number that starts with a 76, and that's how they dated these guitars at the Matsumoto plant. I hope I'm pronouncing that right too. Lots of mispronunciations probably in this video. Of course, Matsumoto is a very sought after, our guitars made in Matsumoto are very sought after because they had really high quality in Japan. Some of it's probably a lot of mythology and hype. It was still good, but as we'll get into later, probably not as good as Martin and Gibson, other high-end American-made guitars. So, one of the reasons I did this review is because you can't find jack crap about these guitars on YouTube or almost anywhere else. It's very kind of spotty information, so I just want to make something to give somebody a visual if they're thinking about buying one of these guitars or a guitar that's kind of like it. Let's get into the specs. So it is a solid spruce top. Let me get in here. Lots of good silking on this, so good quality top. Then you can tell it in the sound. And then the sides and back are Brazilian rosewood, and they are both laminate. Now you will read online and hear all kinds of, again, this is something where there's a lot of misinformation. Almost every guitar of the Matsumoto plant was laminate. And I would be happy for someone to prove me wrong on that. I would say it's extremely, extremely rare that they made solid wood back and side guitars. I have heard some people say that their sides are solid. I doubt it. And there's one easy way to prove it, which somebody can take pictures of, and that's take out this strap plug right here, and you'll easily, when you look inside, be able to tell if it's laminate or solid. When you look at it, you'll see there's different layers of wood when you look inside there, and that'll tell you if it's laminate. Now, let's start with the bad first. That's where the problems come in my opinion, is I've got a few laminate guitars. I've got one really high-end laminate. I've got another Japanese copy that's a laminate. Every laminate I've played, the bass tone just is not there. And that's my issue with laminates and my issue with this. Guitar sounds great. What it lacks in is a good bass tone. When I bought this, the woman who sold it to me had bought it brand new in 1976 and kept it the entire time. There's some, you can tell there's some things. There's a few nicks in the neck. There's a little bit of belt buckle rash around here. There's a few little finish cracks along the guitar. So overall, great quality guitar. Why did she sell it? It wasn't because she stopped playing. It was because she bought a D28 and no longer played this guitar. When I was there, she let me play the D28. And again, I've played a lot of guitars. You can just tell the difference. I've got a Guild D50 made in 72. And if you play it, you can just tell the difference in bass. It's really hard to quantify on camera, especially I'm using my cell phone, so it doesn't exactly have the best sound system. But again, that's the problem with these guitars. Are they worth $1,500? No, they're not. At least not this one. At least not other copies that I've played. Because they just don't match up to a Martin. Are they worth $800? Probably. I think that $800 to $1,000 price range is probably correct for these guitars. Of course, you're going to have collectors who are going to be willing to pay more, which is why a lot of times you see these skyrocketed prices on guitars like this. So let's get into the sound. And again, crappy camera, crappy audio, so you'll just have to kind of decide for yourself, but don't judge it. I think it sounds really good. Great booming sound. We'll play a couple of chords just for you to hear. So let's see. So as you can see, kind of a good crisp sound, really booming like you'd expect in a Dreadnought. Again, just the basses aren't there. One example is just so it's really hard to quantify, but the bass is just almost too loud, not deep enough. It doesn't really get that good mellow bass sound, but so I screw up playing here. Not bad sound. I mean, it sounds really, really good, and it looks beautiful for the wood grain, especially if you're into Brazilian redwood, which is really in vogue right now. Just wanted to kind of clear up some of the mythology that surrounds these guitars, and just in my opinion, when people say, oh, it matches up to a Martin, and my friends who have Martins play it and say that it's just as good, usually it's because they're selling it. And when you're in marketing, you say stuff like that to sell these. But if you're interested in buying one, I say go for it. You know, you've probably already talked yourself into it. But overall, good guitar. I would say if you're going to rate it, let's say a vintage Martin D35 or D28 in perfect condition is a 10. Crappy Chinese guitar is a 1. I would say this is probably somewhere around a 7. So again, not bad at all, especially for a laminate. Just not as good as probably people make them out to be and claim they are. Anyways, I hope you like this review. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you. And I'll probably be taking some pictures of this with a little bit better of a guitar and posting links. And sorry about the light reflecting off of this. I'm sure that's probably annoying. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask on YouTube, and I'll be happy to answer it. By the way, this is a 3-piece back. On the inside, they also match the Brazilian rosewood. Not perfectly, but sometimes on these laminates, what they'll do is they'll have outside one type of wood, inside another type of wood. Higher ends will usually they'll match on both sides. Sometimes even match down to the wood grain line, so it looks like it's a solid. So anyways, give this a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave me a comment if you have any questions, and hopefully you found this useful. Because I certainly couldn't find anything about these guitars online, certainly no reviews. And if you have more information, feel free to pass along. All right, thanks for watching.